who are the top 10 units on Trunks' team, specifically on the time travel team. Let's talk about it. Now, coming in at number 1, I don't know if this will surprise any of you, but it's Merge Zamasu. I know some people disrespect this unit, but I think on the time traveler team specifically, this guy is the best. Why? Because Gohan's not on his team, Bulma's not on his team, the GT Duo and Orange Piccolo, like none of the competition are on this guy's team. So this guy is pretty much without competition, number 1 on this team. He is really good. I mean, you guys know how good this guy is. Turn 1, he's got like 80% damage reduction, and then minimum he's got 40% damage reduction, and then when he builds up the defense, his defensive levels can get up to decent points. He can hit hard, he's got big bad bosses. He's just an overall really good unit, and his leader skill's pretty decent as well. I wouldn't say his leader skill is spectacular, but it's certainly good. Like, it's pretty good if you have the right units on it. The issue is obviously that there's not that many extreme units in Dokkan that are super good, but even without that, this guy, his leader skill is good, and overall he is a very powerful unit, and he's got good stats, to be fair. I mean, his HP is quite low for an LR, for a brand new LR at that, but I mean, his domain more than makes up for it, because that's one thing that I've not even discussed yet. His domain is extremely powerful. He can't take any damage. He helps the full team basically. He creates orbs, gives defense to the whole rotation. Like, this guy is really good. So moving on to number 2 on this list. At number 2, I've got VB. If you think he should be higher, I would somewhat strongly disagree. If you think he should be lower, I would actually strongly disagree. I think so far the order is perfect, with Zamasu at number 1 and then VB at number 2. This guy holds down slot 1 while his guard is active. Now, the weakness of this unit is that if his guard goes away and if you are unable to transform, he will get destroyed. Not only of super attacks, this guy won't even be able to handle normals from the more difficult bosses. And this guy can straight up get a one shot off a normal. That's how bad he is after the 4 turns go away. But ideally, when the guard goes away, you would want to transform, and if you can transform, well, you all know how good VB is transformed. Like, if you could transform with this guy turn 4, he would be number 1 on this list. The reason he's not number 1 is because his transformation is not really that consistent, but once you do transform, his defensive levels combined with his offensive levels are a bit too good, and then on top of that, this guy basically has the best leader skill in the entire game. Not only is it a good leader skill, it's arguably the best in the game, and his leader skill is so good that for new players, I think VB is better than Zamasu solely because of the leader skill. So if you're a new player and you have this unit, that's a massive W for your account. This guy is basically a must-have for new players. If you're a more veteran player, this guy is very nice to have, but he's not a must-have. I don't think any unit is a must-have for the most part, but if you're a new player, this guy is basically a must-have, and Zamasu is certainly not for new players. So, but for veteran players, and overall, Zamasu is better, but Vegeta Blue is number 2 on the list. And then coming in at number 3 is Trunks himself. I've seen people underrating this unit. I've seen some people overrating him, but I think more people underrate this guy. If you think he should be lower, maybe 1 spot lower, but not too much lower. He certainly should not be higher. His leader skill is quite decent. He's stacking the defense. The issue with this guy is that, as I've discussed again and again, the damage reduction resets every turn. If his damage reduction was permanent, he would be significantly better. But even if it was permanent, even then, like 30% is not that impressive. Like, that should be 50%, and then it should be permanent, and then he would be number 1 on this list. Like, he would genuinely be number 1 if that went up to 50%. And if it was permanent. But obviously that's a massive change you would have to make. That's 2 big changes you would have to make this guy number 1. The good thing about this guy though, Well, number one, he hits really hard, but the main good thing about him is the standby mode. So if we do get more long-form difficult content, Trunks would hugely benefit from that. And in his standby mode, he is in the conversation for number one in the game, but obviously it takes a while to get there because you have to wait until turn 4. So far I'm pretty confident about this, as in 1, 2, 3. The next one I'm not so confident about because maybe he should be a little bit lower, but for the sake of the video, for the sake of all these videos, I'm putting Zamasu above VB, because VB is also still really good obviously, but first I've got Zamasu. The reason I've got Zamasu above VB is because this guy just does too much. He heals, he supports, he's got damage reduction, he stacks defense, you can get the guaranteed additional super if he gets hit first. Like this guy is just good. He even still recovers, and then if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can transform again, and here he hits quite hard. But even here, if you get that additional, if he gets hit first, even here, he can do some decent damage, and he's got a good link set. He is the best linking partner for the number one unit here, which is Merge Zamasu, so that's a W for this unit, so I'm pretty confident with having him at number 4. Maybe VB should be higher. The only thing that makes me think VB should be higher is the fact that he gets that guaranteed dodge when he transforms. If it wasn't for that, I would say this guy is comfortably better than VB. But that one turn guaranteed dodge is really powerful. The amount of damage this guy can do, his link set, this guy is just really good. Easily one of the best easy A's of all time. I think right now this guy is the best, but VB was and is very strong. I won't argue with that. I know some people seem to think that this unit is better than this unit. I strongly disagree with that, but I mean, I can see why people would be frustrated with this unit, but the unit is still easily one of the best in the game. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then VB is 5 as we discussed, and then 6 is Trunks and Vegeta. Because I do realize that a lot of people have been disrespecting this unit, but I'm gonna say that's the same thing that I've been saying, which is that his leader skill is one of the best in the game. This guy can hold down slot 1 very well. He's better in long form content, but even in short form content, like you can easily use him. Like he can get caught in short form content, but even in the short form difficult content, like he can hold his own if you get a bit lucky with him. If you get unlucky in short content, this unit could get destroyed, but outside of that he will be really good. As a matter of fact, this is another unit that would be super good for new players. This Trunks and Vegeta and this VB, if you have either of them and you're a new player, even if you're a veteran player, but especially if you're a new player, those two units will be really good, because both of them can hold down slot 1 and both of them have really good leader skills. So that's what I'll say for that. Next is Trunks. I've seen in recent times people talking about the fact that this guy has hugely benefited from this celebration because his restrictions have been made easier to meet because a lot of the new units meet those restrictions. For example, Int Future Gohan and the new LR Future Gohan, both of them hugely benefit this guy, so that's a massive W for this guy. But with that said, there are a lot of situations where this guy will get caught. Obviously I've not actually used this unit because I'm on global, but from the gameplay that I've seen, I'm pretty confident in saying that he should be on the list, but I don't think he should be higher than Trunks and Vegeta. I know some people might disagree with that, but that is where I'm putting him right now. His leader skill is okay, but the fact that his restrictions are that bad is not good. So moving on. Next is Int Mai. Maybe she should be higher, maybe she should be lower, but overall I'm very comfortable with where she is. The reason I like her so much is that she's got the support, she's got the dodge, she's got the foresee enemy super attack. That depends on the enemy, but still, she has it. Her link set isn't awful either because she's got Cold Judgment. She's just a very good easy A. Easily one of the best banner units in the game right now. Like genuinely, she's that good. She's got to be like a top 5 banner unit, which is insane for an easy A. So I will definitely take that. Next is Zamasu. And the thing with Zamasu and this Trunks, I could see them in either order. The reason I've got Zamasu a little bit higher is because for me, Zamasu is more of a floating unit, whereas Trunks is more of a on-rotation unit. And the reason I say that is because Trunks stacks defense for 6 turns, so on rotation, Trunks would be more powerful, but as a floater, I think Zamasu would be more powerful, and because both of them are just easy A banner units, I would rather run them as a floater, unless they are just really busted. I would rather run them as a floater, which is why I'm putting Zamasu here. I think Zamasu is certainly quite a bit better than people give him credit for, because he'll basically have 60% damage reduction depending on your rotation, and then he can heal as well. So, and he raises defense for 1 turn over there. He's got like, let's say, 3 to 400k defense with like 60% damage reduction. I would say at that point he's really good, and then obviously on top of that he also heals, and then with Trunks obviously he has the stacking defense for 6 turns, which is really powerful considering it's a 40% raise. Both of them have 40% damage reduction for free, which is why they are pretty decent. So those are the top 10 units. The honorable mention that I will give is this Trunks over here. I think STR Trunks is straight up better than this guy, but this guy is still decent. How is that the case? How is the banner unit better than the Dokkan Fest? Do people disagree with me on that? I feel like people would disagree with me, but from what I've seen, the only difference between these two is that this guy has 40% damage reduction. Like, outside of that, like I don't see much difference. Like, this guy might hit harder obviously, but I don't care about that. I care about defense, and this guy is the better defensive unit. So I mean, I think Trunks is definitely, or STR Trunks is better than Tech Trunks, even though some people might disagree with me on that. But I will mention this guy as an honorable mention, so I will say that about this guy. Speaking of honorable mentions, let's go through the rest of the honorable mentions. When it comes to Zamasu over here, he is definitely an honorable mention. Perhaps he should be on the list. The reason he's not though is because he has the same name as Tech Merge Zamasu, and that is frustrating, which is why I did not want to put him on the list. Next is LR Goku Black and Zamasu. Maybe they should be on the list, but personally I think they are just off, but definitely towards the top of the honorable mentions. Next is Cell. He is still quite decent depending on the situation. Next we got Trunks and Mai. They can be okay if you get lucky. And then if we scroll down, I don't see anyone in Extreme AGL, because this Goku Black was mid on release for the most part. Trunks and Mai are okay, but the thing with Trunks and Mai is that they are heavily restricted. But outside of that, like, if you meet their restrictions, they can certainly be somewhat decent, I won't lie. Next is, there's no one in Extreme Tech, there's no one in Super Tech, because I'm not a fan of that easy A over there for that Super Trunks. So what about Extreme Int? I don't see no one there that pops out. Super Int, not really. Extreme STR, maybe this guy, I forgot what he's called. Is he called Hearts? I think he's called Hearts. But anyway, he's okay depending on the team. And then I guess Super Saiyan 3 Goku can be okay. Int Super Saiyan 4 Gohan with an easy A could be sick during this next hero celebration. Gowasu and Zamasu, you can get lucky with them, I'll give them that. But that's if you get lucky, so I mean that's that. And then this physical Zamasu is just a mid banner unit. I don't know what they were thinking with him. So with that said, let's do a quick subscriber challenge. If you guys agree with me that LR Trunks is definitely at least top 3 on this team, then you have to subscribe, because that is the challenge. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, then do subscribe, especially if you just failed that challenge, because that is indeed the challenge. Also, do leave a like and comment, because those things do help out. With that said, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Ta-ta, adios, bye-bye.